What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Odd Chopper channel, coming to you with another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks MLB. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video and goes a long way for you. That way you become apprised whenever great betting content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. MLB was fantastic on Sunday in the premium Discord. The Angels continue to be a disappointment in terms of just covering the damn run line, but Shohei Ohtani over 1.5 total bases. Shohei Ohtani home run. Mike Trout over 1.5 total bases. Did not take his home run for the ride. That was a bummer, but literally swept the morning card outside of one little small debacle. That's not a big deal. Again, going 8-10. It ended up being 8-10 on the official MLB day. It's a pretty great day for MLB. Things have been trending up here since the tail end of last week. A lot better weekend in the MLB streets, which is great. Joining to the fray, the NBA, which has been going great just about all season long. Be sure to check out the NBA Leans, Likes, and Locks for the playoffs. Just 2 games going on Monday. Going to be a lot of 2-gamers going forward as series start to wind down, as we have fewer and fewer teams playing. But we're going to keep the grind going there in the NBA streets. If you guys want to join the fun, sign up for the premium Discord below. And as you can see, new sponsor, we have FanDuel Sportsbook hanging with us. You can sign up at the link below. Bet $5, get $150. Pretty simple stuff. I'll talk about it a little bit later, but let's just get to the pick, shall we? We've got a lot of games to talk about, 11 of them on Monday's slate. Yeah, let's fire it up. The day starts off in lovely Cleveland, Ohio. Yeah, Cleveland. It's beautiful. Don't they have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and stuff? It's cool. Anyway, we've got Austin Gomber on the mound here for the Colorado Rockies, visiting the Cleveland Guardians. Cal Quantrill, my God, pitching is terrible in this one, and I don't really know what to tell you. Like, Austin Gomber's legitimately awful. 621 expected slugging, 14.3% K rate, 10.7% walk rate so far this season. But Cal Quantrill, this guy has just kind of had my number forever because he never projects out well. He's always been like a back-end starter for the Guardians for years now. 13.4% K rate, just has never been a strikeout guy. He will once in a while mow down like 9 guys out of the middle of nowhere, and I'm not gonna lie, Colorado seems like it would be a strong candidate to be one of those spots, especially considering Colorado down to a 74 WRC plus on the season against right-handed pitching. That is no good and terrible as well. So the meeting of bad situations, bad things. Usually when that happens and you're giving me -120 on a +1.5 run line, I'm going to have to lean that direction, but it doesn't project out as a good bet for me because how do you look at this Colorado lineup and feel anything other than disdain and horror if you bet on them? Yes, those would be the 2 things I would feel. So Colorado +1.5 projects out the best here. Haven't looked at any props here yet because they're not out yet, but if I had to do anything as of right now, this would be the play, but I don't love it. Second game on the board, we head to Baltimore. Yes, we got the Baltimore O's hosting the Boston RS's. See, that was the initials joke. Those aren't funny. Whatever. Chris Sale going to be on the mound here for the Boston Red Sox, coming off of a fantastic outing. And now you get that deep cavern to left field. Sure, you get Ryan Mountcastle with his 630 expected slugging at the plate as well. Austin Hayes, 635, probably going to be batting leadoff there. So lots of issues with those 2 righties. But Jorge Mateo, if he can keep guys off the base paths, specifically Mateo, and then usually 8 or 9 hole Cedric Mullins against lefties, he should be in good standing here to have a successful outing. I like what we're seeing out of him. It's been a lot better. Things look good. The velocity looks pretty much identical. So I'm feeling better about Chris Sale's profile going forward than I might have at the beginning of the season when I just didn't know, and neither did the books. Usually you want to be early to stuff like that, but we're seeing -120 there. I would be leaning on the Boston side, but that's not going to be the play. Suppose I should at least break down your starter on the O side. It's Dean Kramer, and we're going to be attacking him with one bat in particular. A 564 expected slugging, 288 expected batting average, a 395 xWOBA. But what I want to point out, and this is one of the ways that I go down breaking, so I get the odds for the homers. I plug them into the machine, but the night before, I don't always have those. So one of the things I like to do is look at the profiles of what kind of players are succeeding against what type of pitch types. Dean Kramer, 41.5% of the time, he is throwing a four-seam fastball. He mixes in a sinker, cutter, changeup, curve, all about the exact same. The curve actually distant fifth, but about 12 to 15% usage on that sinker, cutter, change. So he's relying primarily on that fastball, and wouldn't you know it, over the course of this season, that is exactly what Rafael Devers has been tuning up. He is leading the AL in home runs so far at 8. Now, you got Natalis Garcia, who hit like 84 of them over the weekend, so I don't know how that's possible. But just throwing it out there, Rafael Devers, 8 homers, 5 of them have been against four-seam fastballs. Seems like a perfect little matchup. Also in Baltimore, we know they did not change the dimensions of right field. So as a lefty coming in there, I really like what we're looking at with Rafael Devers to homer. Now, it's not going to be all that warm. Looks like it's going to be 55 to 60 everywhere in the Northeast tomorrow. But I'm calling this a lean for anything better than plus 350, and I don't see any reason that it wouldn't be better than that, considering he's been north of plus 400 for quite a while. And, oh, I don't know, targeted Dean Kramer with Rafael Devers last time. Of course, he went yards. So there you go. Rafael Devers 2 home run. We're running it back here from, I don't know, 3 weeks ago. That's what my sheet says. It's good stuff. Rafael Devers to homer, the play officially from this one. Off we go to Tropicana Field, where I'm pretty sure if they don't start selling out this stadium for how good this baseball team is, I'm going to lose my mind. They are 19-3. They are 13-0 at home, and I'm still seeing empty seats on the weekend in Tampa. What are we doing here? You have a 19-3 baseball team. You have a genius front office who has put together a ridiculous baseball team. Just beside myself. They are so damn good. Leading baseball in WRC plus against righties. Leading baseball in WRC plus against lefties. It is insane stuff what we're seeing from them. So if you're in Tampa Bay, please just start going to the games. Make me feel better for them. Such a ridiculous situation, but we're breaking down bets in this one. And Jose Urquidy on the mound here for the Houston Astros, going up against Taj Bradley, who has come out of the gate running. But let's start with Jose Urquidy. He's been serviceable. He's been a back end starter for this Houston team for quite some time. Never is going to impress you with the K stuff. That started to regress back to around 20% where we kind of expected it. That would be actually a phenomenal season, I think, for him. 379 expected slugging, 300 xWOBA, but the exit velocity is down, and that is what you need. And despite what we're seeing from Tampa Bay, which is just out of this world stuff, they play in a ballpark that is generally good for pitching. So Jose Urquidy, with the moderate exit velocity that he's been giving up, I think if anybody's going to come in as a back-end starter and have some success, might as well be somebody who just limits hard contact in a very prominent way. So there it is. But Taj Bradley, he's been awesome so far. I'm not going to deny that. A 197 xWOBA, 42.5% K rate. However, I don't think he's really been tested in a place where we should start penciling him in as this outrageous starter. Now, do I think he's got great stuff? No doubt about it. But he faced Boston. 78 pitches. Found a way to survive. 3 earned runs that he gave up in that one. They won 9-7. That looks good for him. Again, he's 2-0. He's had 2 starts. But the other one was against Cincinnati, who they're starting to turn into a little house of horrors against right-handed pitching. A 25.6% K rate, a 10.4% walk rate is pretty decent there. But an 82 WRC plus. They have to run a lot of righties out against other righties, and we'll talk about that when we get to their game. But I think these are 2 spots that just don't encapsulate how hard it's going to be to face Houston, specifically Houston's lefties in Yordan Alvarez and Kyle Tucker. Now, they've only had a 99 WRC plus over the course of this season against right-handed pitching, and I do know they're still waiting on Jose Altuve to be joining the party, and once he does, that's obviously an upgrade to anybody else that they've had to have playing second base, specifically Dubon. But I feel like this is a spot where if you take plus money long-term on the Houston Astros, that seems like a profitable endeavor. So I am backing them here. Going up against Taj, I think, again, he gave up 3 earned to Boston, got a cupcake Cincinnati matchup. Good thing I can talk. Houston money line, pretty clear cut for me, the better side to be on here. In early lock, I said we would talk about them next, and here we are, the Cincinnati Reds hosting the Texas Rangers. We have Nathan Eovaldi on the mound here for Texas, fastball thrower, high 90s guy, just does what he does. And Nick Lodolo, My pick originally to win the Cy Young as an underdog, again, didn't think he was the most likely, but at 65-1, I was willing to bet on the strikeout stuff. And hey, the strikeout stuff hasn't been the problem, but he's basically turning into Chris Sale light, if you will. A 29.8% K rate, that's not as extreme. It started to come down because, again, he just got shelled by Tampa Bay, which a lot of people are going to get shelled by Tampa Bay, so it totally makes sense. But the K rate, now sub 30% through 4 starts, and the hard hit starting to trail back up in a pretty prominent way. And this is Great American Small Park, and Texas, oh my God, have they been mashing baseballs. They get all these righties into the fray. Josh Young, I was a little bit surprised to see Texas pretty much middle of the pack against righties. Over the course, or against left-handed pitching over the course of this season. Against righties, they've had a 129 WRC plus, which is just insane stuff. But against lefties, they've been below average, 79 WRC plus, 623 OPS. Pretty strange stuff, because I do expect them to start increasing that number at least to the average 100 mark against lefty pitching with some of these righties that they have in the mix. And that makes 8.5 at plus money. Yes, 8.5 has plus money attached to it in some places right now in that total. And that is going to be hard for me to overlook. And yes, Cincinnati has had their issues going up against right-handed pitching themselves. Just an 82 WRC plus. A 350 slugging is horrendous. These are bad things. But you're getting a primary fastball thrower here in Nathan Eovaldi, who I think he'll be able to find some success being able to rack up Ks. But we're seeing him give up a lot of earned runs. Kansas City tuned him up to 8 over the course of back-to-back starts. It's not really looking like he's going to be inducing as many ground balls as what you would want heading into Great American Small Park. And there's enough bats in this Cincinnati lineup that I think they can add something to the expected run total that I have on the Texas side. I think they're really, really going to go nuts if they make contact with Lodolo, which is a questionable thing. But at even money on 8.5, I have this total closer to 9.5 at standard juice. That becomes a lock. A full run difference at plus money currently on FanDuel Sportsbook. Fire it up, sign up to the link below, take advantage. You bet 5, get $150. But if you had to pick one play on the entire board, I love Lodolo, I do, but kind of a lefty Hunter Green on the other side, if you will, from Cincinnati, over 8.5 runs. My favorite play of the day for Monday. We're going north of the border to Toronto, where there's one pitcher who's definitely started to impress me with some of the changes he's made after a horrific outing against St. Louis. That is Chris Bassitt here. They're going to be hosting Lance Lynn, who's been kind of going in the other direction this season, coming off of another shelling against Philadelphia. He's now got a 7.59 ERA on the season, 0-2 record, 1.83 whip. He's walking guys. He's getting strikeouts from time to time. Specifically mowed down my Minnesota Twins because of course he did. But Lance Lynn, don't really like what we've seen here of late from him. And Chris Bassitt, I feel the exact opposite and think a lot of his numbers are inflated from one bad outing. Again, St. Louis, we're seeing power up and down that lineup. The prominence of Brendan Donovan and especially Alec Burleson and Nolan Gorman, who's leading that team in expected slugging. That's a conversation for a different game. Like, we'll talk about him later. Well, a different day. Either way, Chris Bassitt, I'm very impressed by the last couple outings. 3 straight of 6 innings or more. The ground balls started to show up against Houston, and that was a very important part of that. But 5.75 strikeouts, starting to do the things you need to do to be effective against good offenses like Houston. And now the White Sox, I find to be very incompetent in a lot of ways. Sure, just a 99 WRC plus, so I mean, about average. Shouldn't be picking on them too much, 713 OPS. But I don't really like the construction of this lineup on a day-in, day-out basis. You're going to ask Luis Robert, Andrew Benintendi, Eloy Jimenez. Those are the guys who have to do a lot of the work because that infield is just awful right now. And you're getting a little bit out of something from Yasmani Grandal. Zavala will be in there from time to time, more against lefties than he is against a righty like Bassitt. But I feel like Toronto, I just wish I was getting a better number. That's what this comes down to. -169. Lance Lynn has shown upside from time to time here. I think this is just a stay away spot at this. A lot of other games on the slate. So Toronto money line, that's the lean, that's the play. But I think this is pretty easy to pack it in and find a better spot on the card. Same picture, different sportsbook, FanDuel. Check it out, friends. Sign up in the link below. Woo, woo, jazz hands. Why do we do this? I don't understand. But anyway, this is fantastic stuff. I understand why we have this promotion for FanDuel Sportsbook because, one, you should be signed up at every book you possibly can be at so that you can shop for the best odds for every single one of your bets. And then, two, you're getting $150 in bonus bets to do it. So sign up in the link below. You have all of 1 week, but you might as well just get it out of the way now. Take advantage of this in the MLB streets here. I got you covered. You can hit me up on Twitter if you have any questions, if you sign up for anything. Happy to help you as you get everything done over at FanDuel Sportsbook, but I refer to them a lot in the premium Discord. I refer to them a lot on this program. It's just nice to be able to have a great offer that I can provide for you guys right now, right from the get-go to try out their product. I know a lot of people have DraftKings. I know a lot of people now have Bet365, so on and so forth. But FanDuel, they are tried and true, one of the foremost leaders in our industry. So FanDuel Sportsbook, if you haven't signed up, click on the link below. Sign up. Takes you all of about 2 minutes. Bet $5 on anything, and even if it loses, get $150 in bonus bets. It's only if you're 21 and over. And if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-522-4700. Yes, 1-800-GAMBLER. Alrighty, y'all, back to the picks. We're going to ATL, MIA coming and visiting, but they are kind of missing in action from time to time. Edward Cabrera on the mound for them, going up against Spencer Strider. I love this man. He's everything I wish Hunter Green would be. Hunter Green, can we just figure it out, dude? But anyway, Edward Cabrera, 192 expected batting average, 274 expected slugging. Looks pretty decent from time to time, but I'm not completely sold on everything that he's doing in terms of his pitch mix. He's still got over a 4 ERA, still over a 1.76 whip right now. He's just walking too many guys from time to time. Against the Mets, serviceable offenses, 6 and 7 walks. It shored up the last two. I will give him shout out. 1 against Philly, 2 against San Francisco. And hey, being a righty against San Francisco, I will say that's going to impress me. It's going to impress me more than the average Bears. So Edward Cabrera, not the worst guy on one side of this, but this Miami lineup, man, they got some problems. I mean, John Birdie getting back to the fray there. We've been backing Miami from time to time on the money lines. It's been pretty decent. It's been better than the Angels from time to time, I can tell you that much. But Miami got up early, still choked it away, 7-4 against the Guardians there. They are above 500, so I mean, they're doing a lot of things right in the pitching department, and Edward Cabrera, decent enough arm there. But if it's not Jorge Soler in this quote-unquote revenge spot, you want a World Series with them. I mean, he's fantastic. Luis Arraez still doing Luis Arraez things. Brian De La Cruz, lots of dudes in the Miami lineup that project out decent long-term, but I only named 3 people because the other 6 are dog doo-doo. So there you go. Oh, and they're facing Spencer Strider, who I find to be just one of the most electric arms in all of baseball. I'm pretty sure if you've watched him pitch, you'll feel the same way. A 177 expected batting average, a 41% K rate. The walks spiking from time to time, and you don't want to be doing that against Arraez and John Birdie, who can steal a bag or two. So don't do that, Spencer Strider. Please and thank you. But upper 90s electric fastball. The slider is ridiculous. The changeup not really getting thrown a whole lot. So he's like a 2-pitch pony right now, and I love it. I just absolutely can't get enough of this. Oh, so much so that also this Atlanta lineup, I think they're a lot better than Miami's. No, I think they're a lot better than Miami. Sean Murphy joining the party. I mean, what an acquisition for them. Going to be able to DH him certain days. You're going to have a lot of catching situations where it's an embarrassment of riches to be able to add a bat like this. 708 expected slugging, 287 expected batting average, and a 480 xWOBA leads the Braves. Yes, that's better than Acuna. My God, Sean Murphy. Slow down, young man. Actually, don't. You're fantastic. Oh, and don't slow down today, please, on Monday, because Atlanta, -1.5, even juice. That's too good to resist. We are going to tango with that. Yep, the other lock early here on the card. Yeah, we're going to the late night session. Don't worry, we've got a couple plays coming up from that one. But ATL, -1.5, WWW. Oh my gosh. We go from talking about Spencer Strider and that beautiful Atlanta situation to, oh boy, Detroit. Matthew Boyd on the mound for them, southpaw, going up against Colin Rea. Colin Rea kind of getting by on a prayer right now. 53.3% hard hit percentage, 343 xWOBA, just a 19% K rate, but always helps to be facing the Detroit Tigers, where their best player, I find to be their best hitter, Javier Baez, even if he's been awful this season, at least he's swiping a bag once in a blue moon. He has 2 stolen bases on the year, not even that good, 0 homers. Javier Baez is going to be day-to-day here. That makes me put, when I update this for the lineups, I mean, they might be having to call somebody up here in pretty short order because, I mean, it's not good. If you're a Detroit fan, Spencer Torkelson, at least he's had a pulse at times this season, but it's still been really, really bad. Riley Green, been a little bit disappointing still. Kerry Carpenter, he's been okay, but like it's Kerry Carpenter. It's really, really gross. But I'm actually going to be leaning the +1.5 on the Detroit side because you get Matthew Boyd up there, and again, Milwaukee going up against lefties. They are really, really unimpressive to me. And I think this is going to be a long-term thing for us. A lot of lefties that I like in that lineup, but not a lot of righties that I'm going to be all that in love with backing from the Milwaukee side. They are second worst in baseball with a 65 WRC plus, just a 209 average, and a 104 ISO against left-handed pitching. So as much as Matthew Boyd, I mean, Detroit should have traded them when they had the chance. Could have sold high on him, and he's coming in lower now. He's got a 23.3% hard hit percentage. 17.5% K rate is really bad compared to what we've expected from him in the past. We had a K rate last year around 24.5%. Maybe that increases. Maybe that doesn't. All that matters is Detroit +1.5. I really don't feel like firing this one up with this lineup. So if you're feeling frisky, if you're feeling bold, go ahead. I'm not. I never have a good feeling when the Yankees come to town to Target Field. Yeah, we got Johnny Brito on the mound here, changeup specialist himself, going up against Sonny Gray, who, I mean, he's thrown a lot of different pitches. It's been a messy little situation. And we should actually start with Sonny Gray because we're going to pick on Johnny Brito a little bit here in a second. But Sonny Gray, he's expected to be one of our top starters, if not our top starter. Has not given up more than 1 earned run in any game so far this season. He's been electric. He's been fantastic. I do look at this Yankees lineup as one that could possibly get to him. He's been throwing a lot of curveballs, and if that location starts getting off a little bit, I mean, that 4-seamer, sinker, cutter, I mean, he's throwing just a lot of different pitches, and generally what happens is the book gets out on you on what to expect in certain counts, and then you start running into trouble. So he doesn't have one pitch that he's been going to in any kind of a reliable way, and that always freaks me out a little bit. I would like to see, I mean, maybe this is just going to work. Maybe he can be the Johnny Cueto, mix it up, but just in terms of pitch mix, not necessarily delivery. You know what I'm getting at. Sonny Gray, I expect regression from this. Like, you shouldn't expect anybody to give up less than 1 earned. Even Jacob deGrom could find times that he runs into trouble, and Sonny Gray, through 4 starts, has been awesome. But now, the Yankees, that's a lot different than Kansas City, the White Sox, Detroit, all in that division. Although you're going to play a lot more teams not in your division this season. Conversation for a different show. Let's talk about Johnny Brito, who, pretty sure you remember, getting completely decimated by that Angels lineup. The Minnesota lineup. My Minnesota Twins completely decimated them. I almost accepted the Angels as my team, but I would never do such a horrible thing. It just seems like they're my betting team every single time out. But Johnny Brito, changeup specialist. And there's one person in particular, I'm not sure what to expect coming into tomorrow, but I'm in love with his batted ball profile against slower pitchers, against fastballs that are elevated. He is Joey Gallo. He hasn't seen a whole lot of batted ball events so far this season, just 20. He was out for a week, but he's back. He's going to strike out a lot. He's hitting way better than he has in years past. I mean, he's been right around a 200 average guy, a little bit lower than over the course of his career, hitting almost 300 here at the moment, 289. I expect regression in that department, but this power is real. Talked about him at the onset of the season. He was going to be somebody I wanted to invest in early and often, like a Matt Olson, where the shift was going to open up avenues for them to be a lot more successful. It's not like books don't think about that either. It's not like they aren't accounting for it, but it seems as though Joey Gallo home run props have been rather low, a little bit low for my taste. And sure, Minnesota, they decided to lose a series to Washington over the weekend. Good job, good effort. Disgusting stuff. But Joey Gallo against Johnny Brito, he's only faced 4 changeups all season long. So not a lot of a sample size, but he's been routinely pretty good against everybody, pretty good at hitting power against everybody. So Joey Gallo, very curious to see what that home run line ends up at. As opposed to Devers, I expect it to be lower, but anything better than plus 275 puts it on my board, and I expect that for Monday. Look what the cat drugged in. It's my betting team, and I have to show restraint here today. I really do. Ken Waldichuk. How much wood could a Waldichuk chuck? If a Waldichuk could chuck wood for Oakland, I would say not a lot. And this bullpen is basically Coors Field on the road. However, it goes from being over 80-plus degrees in Anaheim on Sunday to right around 74 here at first pitch. Jose Suarez on the mound. He's also been atrocious. 11.1% K rate for the lefty. You're seeing walks. You're seeing a little bit of everything. I don't know what to make of it. He's 25 years old, coming off of a season with a 22.3% K rate and a 3.67 expected ERA. Maybe this is just a blip. Maybe he's starting to get a little bit of got to work into the season quicker than this young man. Come on. This is pretty tough to watch. So I'm not all that enthusiastic on backing Jose Suarez, even against Oakland. And part of that is that Oakland's been better than you would expect against left-handed pitching. A 107 WRC plus, a 703 OPS, however, with a 310 BABIP. So take that for what you will. Top 15. It's about average. But still, I expect this Oakland lineup with the hitters that they have in it to not be nearly that lucky and being able to get batted balls through the gap to be able to put it in play. So just throwing it out there. Wanted to just say, Oakland, I expect regression in that number, but Ken Waldichuk is terrible. I'm obviously going to be leaning the Angels minus 1.5, but I'm feeling a little scorned. This team has not treated me well. It seems like they're on my card constantly because this lineup is just ridiculous in my profile, and it shouldn't change all season long when you have Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, 2 generational baseball players batting at the top of your lineup. You have Chad Wallach. It's sad that Logan O'Hopp's going to be out for 4 to 6 months now. It might be a quiet piece of news that nobody cares about unless you're playing year-long leagues, in which case you need a catcher. I'm in a 2-catcher league. It's a complete disaster. That was fun. But Shohei Ohtani, Trout, Hunter Renfroe, Taylor Ward, those are 4 bats you want in your lineup. Day in, day out. Anthony Rendon, stay healthy, young man. But Los Angeles minus 1.5. Just a lean. Let's get out of here. I can't do it. I can do something here, though. We've got the Kansas City Royals heading to Arizona, heading to Chase Field, or it's got to probably be called something different. Everything's called something different here at this point in time. I think it's still Chase Field, though. I'm going to Google that in between these two. But Brad Keller on the mound going up against Tommy Henry. We haven't seen Tommy Henry in a hot second, but last year, primarily all fastballs for the lefty. Nothing that's all that enthusiastic, and I get it. This is the first time we've had an opportunity to talk about AAA numbers. Somebody might write something up and say, oh my God, look at this guy. He has a 6.33 ERA, a 1.45 whip. He's not striking out batters at AAA. Always pay attention which league they're pitching in. If they're on a West Coast team, they're probably pitching in the PCL, the Pacific Coast League. It is the worst stadium, or the worst set of stadiums in all of AAA baseball to be a pitcher. A lot of them have elevation. You have Albuquerque. You have a lot of other places, but specifically Arizona needs to have a special shout out. Its own little section. Why? Because they pitch in Reno, the highest ballpark in all of AAA and all of baseball played, higher than Coors. Yes, Reno is a disaster to pitch in. So I don't give a flying you-know-what about what any Arizona AAA number is, because we have seen time and time again guys come in and have some kind of success, and now he gets to face a Kansas City team that could be down one of their main bats. And I know it'd be left on left, but we saw MJ Melendez, leave that Angels game a little bit early with lower back tightness. If he's not going to be in that lineup, Kansas City has just nobody. Like Sal Perez, who can destroy lefties, so I totally get it. But otherwise, it is Bobby Witt Jr., Vinny Pasquantino, who's hitting everybody pretty well this season, and then nobody. It'll be Kyle Isbell in that lineup. I've got something named Freddie Furman. Freddie Furman. Think about that. I mean, this is absurd. This lineup for Kansas City is just terrible. And that alone has me looking at the Arizona side of this one, going up against somebody that I've targeted for a long time, Brad Keller. This season, it's been better with a 42.6% hard hit percentage. A 203 expecting batting average is legitimately good, but a 15% walk rate, that whip's still going to get up there because that's just what Brad Keller does, even though he's at a 1.29 this season. And we saw some improvements at the tail end of last year. I think this is a good spot to get some value. Arizona, minus 115. That, my friends, is good stuff. Money line, I like it. We head to the last game of the night. I wish we were getting a better number here. It's the St. Louis Cardinals going up against the San Francisco Giants, who are currently playing baseball as we speak. Jordan Montgomery on the mound there for St. Louis. It's been good. I mean, St. Louis needs all the help they can get in a starting pitching department because they have the lineup. They have the lineup to win an NL instantly. Find starting pitching, and St. Louis is going to be very, very dangerous. Going up against Alex Cobb here in this spot, who's been awesome. 2.79 ERA. That looks nice on the surface, but underneath the surface, he does not look calm and ready to drop bombs because he keeps forgetting that you can't walk guys in Major League Baseball. Just throwing it out there. Don't walk guys. Oh yeah, he doesn't walk guys, so he's good at that. 3.5% walk rate. Just don't give hard hit to the guys. 50.8% hard hit percentage. Oh, but St. Louis, they've got some thrashers on that side. Not just Arenado and Goldschmidt, who are primarily lefty killers, Alex Cobb being a right-handed pitcher, but Nolan Gorman, Alec Burleson, Dylan Carlson even, almost a 400 expected slugging. I didn't expect that from him, nor did he. Jordan Walker, stealing bags, hitting balls hard, 47.1% hard hit percentage. This is just a ridiculous lineup. And now Paul DeJong back in the mix, homered his first time back on Sunday. Good to see his existence. Don't know what it's going to mean for Tommy Edman. Probably not good things if he's going to hit the ground running, that's for sure. Although, Tommy Edman, because of the stolen base profile going forward, he only has 2 so far, but he's a switch hitter who I think at times is still going to find success, has an 831 OPS. So, I mean, this is just a ridiculous St. Louis lineup. Do I want to go out of my way to go pick on Cobb in San Francisco, though? That's really the question. And part of it, Jordan Montgomery hasn't been as airtight as what I was hoping coming into this season for St. Louis's sake. A 4.84 ERA, 1.34 whip. Lots of interesting things here. 13 ground balls against Pittsburgh, 7 in every other game here so far this season. That's decent enough, but seems like he's just starting to get tuned up more and more. 7 earned against Arizona. That is glaring, especially considering Arizona being as lefty heavy as what they are, putting lefties on left almost every single game, whether it's Alec Thomas, Corbin Carroll. Lots of interesting things there. So in terms of makeup here, I wish I could get on the St. Louis side here, but I can't really do it at minus 125. That number drops to minus 115. Go ahead and fire it up, but I doubt it. However, we're going to get ourselves out of here with a St. Louis lean. Ooh, that's all. And that does it for another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks MLB. Head to that comment section below. Let me know your favorite plays for Monday's slate. Going to be an awesome week of baseball. Excited to be breaking it down for you every single day on Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Check out FanDuel Sportsbook. Check out the premium Discord. Everything you want, everything your heart desires is in that comment section below. No, it's missing a couple things, but it's got some really cool things in that video description box below. So check it out. Thank you to producer Daryl per usual. I'm Eric Lindquist. Until Tuesday, best of luck in the MLB streets.